Welcome to Backyard Cigars. And a few months ago, a YouTube buddy who has gone about purchasing tobacco and the beginnings of a hobby of purchasing the tobacco and then rolling the tobacco, sorting through it, rolling it, and creating his own cigars for his own home hobby, personal use, not to distribute or anything like that. He's not trying to build a general cigar. He's simply just trying to have fun with the hobby. And one of the things that interests him, aside from rolling, is blending. And so he gets to incorporate the blends and rolls them, which is great. Now this one here is called it's just called Panic, and it's an homage cigar to the cigars that he's loved over the years. Cigars like Diesel and Southern Draw's Brimstone. It's a earthy, mild spice, molasses, and pepper cigar. I mean those are the flavors that he describes that you will experience when you smoke this. Now this has the wrapper is a Pennsylvania Oscuro. The binder is from Nicaragua, Condega, and the fillers are from Nicaragua and Pennsylvania broadleaf, so Ligero. And so you've got the Pennsylvania broadleaf Ligero blended with the Nicaraguan binder, and then finally more Pennsylvania tobacco in the wrapper. Look, even though it's described as oscuro, it's more, I would call it more of a Colorado Maduro. I don't know if that just happened over time when I've had it. I didn't remember it being particularly dark, but that's what it's described as. But this also reminds me of how we know that there are these little tricks that cigar makers will use to darken the leaf, and in some cases, you get a really, really, really dark cigar, and you might think that's just how the leaf was, and it wasn't. It may have been a dark leaf, but they've taken steps to manipulate the color of that leaf. And I think that when this gentleman here is buying his tobacco, and he's just buying it as is, he's not trying to do anything to manipulate the color or make it more appealing. This isn't going to be available for purchase on any website. This is something that he's gonna give to friends and family, and he's gonna enjoy for himself. Now, if we can take a quick look at the rustic appeal of the cigar, as it is very much in the farm roll type of fumas, if you might call it that, or turito, as I mentioned, as they would call this in Puerto Rico, a turito. And it is rustic in appeal. It is something that obviously as he learns how to roll better and better, he will produce different looking cigars in different vitola sizes. This is a Corona cigar. So as we let this cigar develop, as I just lit it, chopped off the pigtail, we're going to talk. He was inspired by the fact that, and this is in his own words, of course, he was inspired by the fact that it's not too much work to roll your own cigars. $50 can buy you a starter kit that can roll 20 cigars, provided you manage to roll the 20 cigars, right? But Jeff likes to dive deeper into his hobbies, like roasting his own coffee beans. He feels rolling cigars doesn't require too much research. Now, Jeff of Aromatix Cigars is Canadian, and he is Canadian super nice, which I think most people can appreciate. People can appreciate when people are kind and generous. And so I have to say, first off, thank you for the opportunity to smoke these cigars and for taking the time to send them to me, because I greatly appreciate that. It's always good to try something out of the norm, something home done, something inspired by, just the love of the hobby, right? Not money, because you're not starting a business, you're just doing this for fun, but at the same time, you're taking it very seriously, as he does, and I know he does. Uh, in addition, he says, he feels rolling cigars doesn't require too much research or effort to make a smokable cigar, but is endlessly gratifying. Seeking to roll the perfect cigar always feels attainable, but yet just out of reach. And on his tobacco purchasing, he says all of the tobaccos are totally usable and smokable, although there is scrap and unusable tobacco for a whole leaf blend, but that can be used in short filler or even adding to a long filler blend. And then he says the hardest part, or at least the most time consuming, is prepping the leaf for rolling and storing it in proper case or moisture. Another problem that you can run into is not every leaf is the same, and not every batch is the same quality, but that's even the case for premium blends as well, which is very much so true. Earth and pepper. That's what I'm getting. It's very earthy. The pepper isn't intense. It's a suitable pepper that combines well with the earthiness. Medium in body. Some slight grassy notes in the finish. Normal, I would say normal aroma. Not a strong aroma, not an overpowering aroma either. It's just earthy cigar smell. Let me take some more time with this. I'll be back. Being a Corona size Vitola, it can heat up, and so I pace myself with it. But as you get to the second third, it does increase to a true medium, whereas in the beginning it was pretty mild and earthy, and now it's picked up a little bit more in strength. Still very earthy. PA tobacco is usually known for the way it can add strength to a blend, and its flavors can heavily impact the blend. And I think that that's what Jeff was looking for here, but he didn't want to add too much of the strength. And so I think he succeeded, because you've got a nice earthy, peppery, lightly spiced cigar. It's not bad. It's an okay cigar. It is totally smokable. It has a great Vitola size, because in that Corona Vitola, you get a lot of the flavors, and also it's not a long burn time. So if you're a beginner and you're rolling cigars, it's good to start on this Vitola size. And two of the other samples he sent me are of the same size. This is seriously good enough that if you took this on a boat trip, or even rolled additionally some skinny toros in this blend, and you gave them out to your friends and family on the boat trip, no one's going to complain. No one's going to say, we need a better cigar, or this isn't doing the job. This will do the job. I off camera, I've been reading some journals as I smoke this, and I think it's the perfect cigar for it. For those of you that might be wondering if I'm being overly generous because it's someone that I know, I can say this. Although Jeff and I have never met, we have done some Zoom herfs and we've chatted online. I mean, we have a friendly association, and I consider him a friend. But at the same time, how do you help a friend if you don't tell them the truth and you don't help them in just being honest? No, but I think in this case, there's nothing bad to say here. On the construction, I've only had to give 2 touch-ups so far, so that's been good. It's burned pretty evenly as well. This is a nice little fumita. Did I detect a few grassy notes? Yeah, a little bit of greenish tobacco. Very little, very, very little in the finish, and hardly noticeable. It's a good little fumita. A fumita is a nice little cigar, rustic appeal, farm roll approach that you can enjoy. It isn't overly complex, but in this case, there was some good tobaccos used in this roll, and I felt a good amount of satisfaction. Now, that has a lot to do with the blender's palate itself. And I know that Jeff has a very good palate. I mean, for goodness sakes, he's a cigar reviewer. He knows the good and the bad of tobacco. And so I think that that knowledge has also played a large role in him crafting something like this. And look, if you're watching this video, you've hopefully watched the video that preceded this on Willie Cigars, who has a small operation, small business where he rolls his own stuff, and when people tell you that you can't do something, that it's too hard, and like I said, there are people who will just rise above that and say, no, it can be done. It's not that hard. And how do you know it's that hard until you try? So with that, I commend Jeff on this cigar. I just thought it was a good cigar and an enjoyable smoke, and you know, this is something that I would say keep making it, and let your friends and family enjoy this, because it's nice. And look, the cigar's name is Panic, is a combination of PA, Pennsylvania, and Nicaragua, Nic. And I think that there is nothing to panic about when it comes to smoking this cigar. And while many of you watching this review will probably never get the chance to try this cigar, that's fine. What you're seeing here is even at the home level, because even though he's not growing the tobacco, he's purchasing it, he's still doing a lot to ensure that this final product is tasty and enjoyable, and he succeeded here once again. So thank you very much for watching. Till next time on Backyard Cigars. Thank you, Jeff.